Starting in the conduction division would be the nose, right? Air then passes from the nose down into this right here, posterior organ. This is known as the pharynx. The pharynx is divided into three regions. If the pharynx is behind or posterior is the nasal cavity, this is known as the nasal pharynx. It's behind the mouth or oral cavity is known as the oral pharynx, which will be from here to here. And if it's posterior to this structure here is known as the larynx, is known as the laryngeal pharynx. Okay, that's the three regions. And you'll find out that lining of the respiratory tract will compose of mainly of pseudostratified columnar epithelial cell.
Whoa, hold on.
Pseudostratified columnar epithelial cell. Okay? The only two places where it doesn't have pseudostratified, in fact it does have stratified, and that is the region in which there might be food passing through it, which will be here, from here to here, also known as the oral pharynx, were made out of stratified types of epithelial, and from here to here down, all the way down to the esophagus, for example, were made out of stratified epithelial cell, as opposed to here is pseudostratified, right?
So the oral is the other one?
Stratified. And the laryngeal pharynx would be stratified, right? So now we just saw air goes into the nasal cavity, goes into the, passing through, which now air, right? Passing through the nasal pharynx, passing through the oral pharynx, and then start going to this structure here. Okay? This structure is known as the larynx. The larynx will have composed of 9 cartilages. We're going to see a little bit. From the larynx, you will see that air then goes downward, descend inferiorly. So you can say that this is the larynx here. Inferior to the larynx, this ridged shape, you can actually feel it. This is known as the trachea. All right, your trachea can go down. Your trachea then splits out into the 2 bronchi, or each one is known as a bronchus. So, in fact, the first branching is known as the primary bronchus. How many primary bronchi you have altogether? 2. Okay. 1 primary bronchus goes to the right lung. 1 primary bronchus goes to the left lung. So each of the primary bronchus then goes into the lung, correct? Okay. The difference between the right lungs and the left lungs is this. The right lungs will have 3 lobes. 1, 2, 3. Superior, intermediate or middle, and inferior. The left lung have 2 lobes. Here, superior, and this one, inferior, right? So altogether, how many lobes did you have? 5 lobes. Okay. Each of the primary bronchus can go into further division, now becomes secondary bronchus or bronchi. Okay? The right primary bronchus divided, splits, so that now you have 3 secondary bronchi, the right one, where each of the secondary bronchus goes into the lobes of the lung. Is that clear? Mm-hmm. The right primary bronchus split, so that now it divides into 3 secondary bronchus. Each of the bronchus goes into the lobe of the lung.
So you have 3 secondary bronchi on each side, on left and right?
No.
Just 1.
5?
Okay, just on the right.
That's fine. Because that's my next point is that right lung have 3 lobes. You have 3 secondary bronchus. On the left side, left lung, you have 2 lobes. The left primary bronchus branch into 2 secondary bronchi, where each of the secondary bronchus goes into each lobe of the lung. So how many altogether secondary bronchi do you have? 5. Very good. Because each of the secondary bronchus goes into the lobe, right? Secondary bronchus is also known as lobar. Okay? Lobar bronchus. Because they go into each lobe. Okay. Now, the secondary bronchus can further divide it out into the tertiary bronchi. Okay?
How do you spell it?
Bronchi. Right, 3. It's tertiary.
T or T I or what?
Any other question? Okay. Now, the secondary bronchus branch to give rise to the tertiary bronchi. Each of the tertiary bronchus goes into a particular area known as bronchopulmonary segment. Initially, you have 10 bronchopulmonary segment on the right-hand side and 10 bronchopulmonary segment on the left-hand side. But some of these bronchopulmonary segment fuse together. So altogether, we have 18 bronchopulmonary segment, whereas 10's on the right and 8 on the left. Okay? So in other words, you can say that tertiary bronchus, each of the tertiary bronchus goes into a bronchopulmonary segment. Okay? And then I'm going to write that down for you.